You're just out with a column talking about zombies in the Tokyo stock market. So this is Night of the Living Dead. If you watch Korean zombie movies, maybe Train to Busan or something. But we're talking about companies that are not making money, but not yet out of business. They're being kept alive on life support. How many of them are there that are listed?
Well, as of the end of 2023, we're talking about 250,000 Japanese companies that are technically zombies. And the reason why this is significant is because over the last 11 years, we've seen the number of zombies increase by about 30%. Now, COVID, of course, didn't really help. But the important thing that we have to remember is that a lot of this zombie problem is a kind of pre-existing condition, if you will. When COVID hit, it was sort of, it was Warren Buffett who talked about when the tide goes out. You can see when people, investors, CEOs have been swimming naked, they've been skinny dipping. And that's what COVID did for Japan in many ways. It was the tide going out, and it uncovered a lot of problems. And so the zombie problem is kind of cropping up at a moment where the Nikkei is going gangbusters. Now, the Nikkei is rising for very, very valid reasons, of course. But there are some problems under the surface that we need to discuss, and the zombie problem is one of them.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about that then, Willie. This is sort of a pre-existing condition, right? That was only just sort of peeled back and revealed by COVID. I mean, what's kept them on life support? I mean, the life support has been, right, BOJ policy and the weak yen, et cetera. But now that is set to change and the consensus is forming around April when the BOJ is going to finally exit negative interest rate policy, what happens to these zombie companies? Because, I mean, yen is likely to go up as a result of that. We're hearing at the least 130, 125 even.
Well, I heard your previous segment with Mark Chandler, and Mark is an incredibly smart guy. He's been doing currency strategy for decades, and far be it for me to contest what he said. But I think that in many ways we have to think about what the BOJ can do in the months ahead with regard to the zombie problem. I think that many overseas strategists are looking at Japan through the conventional lens of economics and monetary science. Japan is a bit different in that you've had Japan at zero interest rates for more than 20 years, QE for more than 20 years. And the big question is the financial system here ready to step away from QE to withstand a rate hike or two? And I think the zombie problem is one of those issues the BOJ has to worry about. The BOJ also has to worry about China slowing down. So in many ways, if you are Governor Ueda and you're running a kind of risk-averse institution, you're also looking at the Nikkei rallying at the moment. Does the BOJ really want to be the spoiler to stop the Nikkei from having its best bull run in 30 years? And that really is the question. I think that when you look at these underlying issues in Japan, the zombie problem we're talking about, I think in many ways Japan also has a lot of regional banks, more than 100 regional banks around the country that are also somewhat fragile. So I think the BOJ has a very difficult decision to make in April. And I'm a lot less optimistic that the BOJ will be stepping away from zero rates in April than many strategists. I could be wrong, but we'll see.